Neuroplasticity is a very simple concept that you can easily understand in the next 5 to 6 minutes. And someone who understands neuroplasticity can shape their brain and behavior the way they want. Because nowadays, just working on the body and building muscles is not enough. You need to work on building the mental muscles as well. So what exactly is neuroplasticity? We all know that our brain is divided into various sections, and every section, every part of the brain have their own function. Some of us tend to use some part of the brain more frequently than others. It really depends on our nature, the kind of job we do, and even the hobbies that we tend to follow. The concept of neuroplasticity says that when we use a certain part of the brain more often, more frequently, the brain rewires itself in a way that it makes the part that is used more frequently more strong, and it can even grow in size. This happens because our brain works and functions through the smaller neurons that are there inside. We have around 86 billion neurons, and when the neurons communicate with each other, they form neural pathways. When we use this pathway very often, it helps to improve the function of that particular brain area. And sometimes, even the number of neurons present in that area can grow in size. For example, let's say a person practices meditation regularly, which means the neural pathway that is associated with attention and focus gets constantly activated, and that neural pathway is very strong, right? So that will help the person to stay alert, attentive, and calm, even when the person is not in the state of meditation, because that part of the brain is already very strong because of neuroplasticity. But let's say somebody has a different nature. Rather than meditating or staying calm, they have a nature of stressing over the smaller things, or they get anxious quickly or overthink a lot. Then the part of the brain responsible for stress or anxiety, that is amygdala, the alarm system, tends to get more active, and the neural pathways in amygdala will be more dominant, which means the size of amygdala can increase, and the person will stay alert and stressed and anxious most of the time. So the idea is that our brain is like plastic, and we can shape it the way we want with the help of right practice. Now we are going to talk about some brain exercises which is going to help us rewire our brain in the right direction. The goal will be to strengthen the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus so that we can increase attention, memory, focus, and logical thinking. And at the same time, we will also try to make the amygdala less active and shrink in size so that we will have less stress, anxiety, and overthinking. Every exercise that we are going to talk about today can be done at home and does not require any additional tool or device. The first mental exercise that we are going to do is humming. The practice of hum and om sound helps us to activate the parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve, which means we are learning to be more calm, composed, and relaxed. It significantly reduces the activity in the amygdala. And with regular practice, we can even shrink the size of amygdala and strengthen our prefrontal cortex. I want you to repeat this 3 times in the morning once you wake up, 3 times before going to bed, and whenever you get your time in the day as well. The second brain exercise that we will be talking about is delayed gratification. Let me tell you what this means. We have 2 decision makers in our brain. The first one is the prefrontal cortex that we have been talking about. It takes the rational and logical decisions. And the second one is our limbic system, which takes emotional, irrational, and impulsive decisions. It's like what we want to do versus what we should do. It is a good idea to let the prefrontal cortex take most of the decisions for us. However, most of the time the limbic system influences our action because it is driven by the wants, desires, and the impulses that we have. So we tend to do what we want rather than what we should do. For example, if you are planning to cut off sugar and you see a bar of chocolate in your table, the prefrontal cortex will be telling you, do not touch that chocolate. But the limbic system will remind you of all the good times that you had the last time you ate that chocolate. If you decide to eat that chocolate, you let the limbic system take the decision for you. And if you just let it be and let the limbic system take decisions for you regularly, the limbic system will be dominant in taking most of the decisions. Delayed gratification can help you to solve this problem. Let me tell you how. Whenever your limbic system is asking you to do something like eat that chocolate immediately, you just tell that, no, I'm not going to eat that chocolate right now. I'm going to push this activity further, maybe just for 5 minutes. When you do this, you are not letting your impulsive mind, the limbic system, control your actions. You're planning something, and maybe you later eat that chocolate would make it a planned action rather than an impulsive decision. So next time when you feel like driving your phone and looking at the reels, just say, hold on, maybe later. Delaying the gratification makes us less impulsive with our decisions and slowly and gradually strengthen the decision-making ability of our prefrontal cortex. So that's all for today's video. And if you want to make your mind sharp with neuroscience, subscribe to the channel and be a part of the family.